Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Fairuz Nasution with student identification number 2024-32077 from System Information Major, Class B. So now I'm going to report my second practice report. This consists the theory report, which is I explain with another sample. The theory consists tabel bantuan pemusatan data, and then I also made for median table, and then modus table. So I'm not going to have a live session report, but I'm going to explain the number that I get from this data. So if we follow up from the first theory report, for the first thing, we need to the basic Excel. For the formula, I've explained it in first theory report and practice report. We got the max, min, and range, and with class, and the sum of class. So we also got the distribution frequency table if we follow up from the first practice. Now I get this table to explain. We start from the data centering table. So for the class, the actual is for the formula, we got to block this part, and then we add 0.5. It's minus if we do the lower, and then it's the upper, and or we add 0.5 for the upper class. Now we just simply pull this square to below to make all this consist number, and then we move to the mi, or it's actual the median. So for the formula is both of this class we divide it 2, and now we get the numbers, and then we pull this autofill for get these numbers, and then we move to mi times p, or it's actually the frequency. So the formula is this mi, and then we times it with frequency. Now if we press enter, it will get the number, and we'll do the same. We pull this square to below to make all the numbers. It's called the autofill. And then we move to the u. U is a scale. So we need to search the higher frequency in here, and we check it from which class. So this is from the third class. Then we put in the third class here, we put 0, and then we fill it up with, if we go below, it will be positive, but if we go higher, it will be minus. And then the last candidate for data centering table, it's scale, or u, times p, or its frequency. The formula is the u, this one, and we times it with the frequency. As we enter, now we get the numbers. The same thing again, we pull it to down, so all the numbers appears. And for this, we use this auto sum to get these numbers to fill it out from the summary. This one goes like that too. Now we move to the main table. We need to search this midpoint, or the mid numbers, or the median. We already find these two. That's why we use this data centering table to help us with the data. So if we click here, it's actually the number that we already searched. And this one goes like that too. This is the sum of the frequency. Now we put it will make the center value, or in Indonesian we call it nilai tengah. And then the formula is this one. We divide it to this one. So it's basically these two that we already searched. Now we move to the scale. The scale is actually, because this in U, the U column. Now if we put it like I said earlier, it's actually, we search for the higher frequency, so we put these 0 numbers, and we get the mi here for the x0. Now for the formula for the average scale is the scale times frequency divided to the sum of frequency. So both of these we need to divide it, and if we press enter, the numbers will appear. So this C is actually the class. We already searched this class. It's 4. Actually, it's here. Now we move for the scale point. So the formula is that the formula is this xo plus the average of un, we times it with class. press enter, and the number will appear. It's actually the same thing. Alright, now we move to the median table. For this, we fill it out with the colored cells, so it will easier for us to search the numbers. Now, why this 140 when it's not appear in this frequency? It's because the formula is the sum of frequency. We divide it with 2, and we get the 140. So we search the closest one to this number, and it's appear to 165. So for the second cells, we look it up from this one. So it's the same line with this pivot center that we made right here. So and for the next frequency, we put the number from the upper class of the center we made, or the median. It appears as 127. So for the median frequency, we look from this one. So it's basically the same line again. We look up to the same line with the numbers we already highlight. Now for the summary, we choose this one plus the median class minus the frequency, and then divide it to median frequency, and then we times it up with the class. It's actually this one, but I use the closest one, but it's actually the same number. Press enter, and the numbers will appear. So the last is modus table. So the same here. We search for it again, but we need this pivot number, the pivot center. We consist the same line again. Now if we look it up, it will be this one. So it's basically this one. Wait, let me alright. I think it will appear and we can see it. Since my camera is on this side, I think it's caused by my camera. So we already can see here. It's here. Now for the D1 and D2. D1 for this D is basically the highlights number we made minus the upper class of it, and then the D2, it's the same, but we use the lower class of these highlight numbers. Right, so the C again, it's actually the class. Now we need to find the sum. The formula is these cells plus in the brackets D1 divided to in the bracket again this one D1 plus D2. We close the brackets and times it with the class, and the numbers will appear. So that's all for my report. But for the last thing, we need to put the graphic from this class. We block all the data here, the class and the frequency, so it appears. We choose this one. Now we name it. Now we have the class chart, and the last chart is this frequency. Now we put this and insert, and I will choose the pie now. Right now we have two graphic or charts here. It's the donut or pie chart, and then the class graphic. So I think that's all for my report. I say thank you and sorry if I made mistake.